Hello and welcome to yet another webisode of Politically Fit for mynation.com, the one and only show where we talk about the health of the nation and your health. The show where we combine tan ki baat with nation ki baat, dono ek saath. And today we talk about something called supersetting, a new variation in exercising, but we also talk about the Congress manifesto and the BJP manifesto and compare both of them. Both of these manifestos were released in the last 10 days and both require a closer look. So what is supersetting? Supersetting is a variation in exercising. Usually we do one body part per day and we team it up with a bit of cardio exercise. But supersetting is when you do two body parts, two opposing body parts, and you do it without any rest in the middle so that you get the most out of the half an hour, 45 minutes of workout that you put in. Now, for example, you can do a bicep, tricep, shoulders and legs, and this allows you to do two sets of exercises without break in a short period of time. But before I show you what exactly a superset looks like, let me talk about the front page of the Congress and the BJP manifesto. Well, if you've seen both the manifestos, the Congress manifesto, which is 54 pages long, has a very small picture of Rahul Gandhi on the front page, and it has a picture of the people of India, whereas the BJP manifesto, which is called the Sankalp Patra, has a big picture of Narendra Modi. The Congress obviously wants to tell everybody that they emphasize more on the people of India, whereas the BJP says that they have a leader to project and therefore their front cover sports the picture of Narendra Modi. Well, what's inside these manifestos? We'll take a look at that too. So when you're supersetting, you do two opposing muscle groups one by one without stopping or taking a break in the middle. For instance, you're training your legs and your shoulders together, so you can do squats, and after that you can follow it up with shoulder press. And the idea is to do these two opposing muscle groups so that you don't tire them out and yet you can have an entire workout in the same period of time in which you would have worked out one body part. So the other combinations are chest and back or biceps and triceps, and all of these can be done as part of your supersetting regime. Now let's talk about the Congress and BJP manifesto. If you take a look at the Congress manifesto, the first impression that you get is that it is more of a rights-based populist manifesto. It obviously highlights the NYAY scheme, that's the scheme to give 72,000 rupees to 20% of the poorest people in India, and it also talks about a lot of empowerment and women's rights, whereas the BJP manifesto is very high on development, it's high on national security. In fact, the first promise that the BJP manifesto makes is about giving the armed forces a free hand to tackle terrorism. So another example of supersetting is when we do the biceps and the tricep exercises. So here I'm doing the bicep curl, and after doing 10 to 12 repetitions, immediately follow it up with a tricep exercise without stopping. And that's another variation or an example of supersetting. And while we're doing this, let me explain to you the 3 or 4 major differences between the Congress and the BJP manifesto. For instance, the Congress manifesto tries to project itself as a liberal document. So it talks about removal of sedition law, it talks about withdrawal of AFSPA, it talks about initiating the dialogue process in Kashmir by talking to separatists, whereas the BJP manifesto is very clear that it wants to put national security front and center, and therefore its first promise, as I said, is about empowering the armed forces to tackle terrorism, and it also talks about abrogation of Article 370, abrogation of Article 35A, things that it has promised before. On the Kisan front, on the farmers front, the Congress manifesto promises a separate Kisan budget, whereas the BJP manifesto reiterates its promise of doubling farmer income by 2022. On employment, the Congress manifesto says that it will create 20 lakh new jobs, mostly in the government sector, whereas the BJP manifesto says that it will create employment opportunities in 22 core sectors. And on poverty, the Congress manifesto harps on its NYAY scheme and says that it will eliminate abject poverty by 2030, whereas the BJP says that it will bring down the number of people living in the BPL section to single digit in the next 5 years. The BJP manifesto does not have one overarching feature like the Congress manifesto has when it comes to the NYAY scheme, but the BJP manifesto talks about 75 deliverables that it wants to fulfill by the year 2022. That's the year when India turns 75. So finally, if you do a word cloud analysis of both the Congress and the BJP manifesto, that will help you understand the differences in the emphasis of both the manifestos. For instance, the Congress manifesto emphasizes on the word education. It uses it about 62 times as opposed to the BJP manifesto, which uses it 35 times. The Congress manifesto emphasizes on people, which it uses about 54 times, whereas the BJP manifesto uses it about 34 times. But the BJP's emphasis lies on development, which is used 75 times, whereas it only features about 24 times in the Congress's manifesto. Infrastructure features 28 times in the BJP manifesto, whereas it features only 22 times in the Congress manifesto. And youth features bigger in the BJP manifesto with 19 mentions, whereas it's only about 8 mentions in the Congress's manifesto. Now this helps us understand the different emphasis points of both the manifestos. This is from me for this week. Keep watching Politically Fit and stay fit. Signing off, Shehzad Poonawalla.